Okay, guys, welcome back into Lacey. Let's try this again. I apologize. Something was going on with my audio earlier. Restream decided that it needed to be completely refreshed in order to work the way it's supposed to. Um, Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so let me restart this video. So, guys, the last couple days and last couple days, I say that I'll say probably the last maybe week to 2 weeks. I apologize, guys. Let me set myself to D&D real quick. It's the middle of the day, so that means I'm going to get hit by 1,000 notifications. There we go. Now that won't be a problem. Okay. So over these last, let's say maybe 10 to 14 days, I've had several conversations where um, my feelings towards games, companies that I don't like, I think they've become muddled, and I wanted to clarify it for the channel so that nobody has any questions on where I stand as far as the state of the hobby, the state of companies and games I don't like, and how I view uh, everything from those games to the players and everything in between. Because I think I've left a little bit of an impression that is the actually kind of the opposite of how I feel. A little bit, not on purpose, and I don't think anything being said is malicious or anything like that. I think it's just something that has been basically been interpreted incorrectly from my end. So I wanted to make a video and just tell you guys kind of how I feel, so that you guys get an idea for how I feel about this. So I'm going to start with how I feel about the state of the hobby. I did the recalibration video, and I think that kind of explains a lot of it. But guys, I don't think the hobby's in trouble. I think the hobby is perfectly fine. I think people will be gaming for years to come. Um, I do believe there are companies that have allowed themselves to become uh, involved, I think is the term I'm going to use here, in things they shouldn't, uh, both political and social, um, that aren't healthy. Uh, and I think that's dangerous. I think that's stupid, not just for the tabletop RPG industry, companies in general. I think companies should stay out of politics and social stuff because every company pretty much sells to people from every walk of life. So it's a general business model that I think people should follow. I try to follow it myself. I try not to antagonize anybody on the opposing side of political or social issues that I'm involved in, because I try to meet the middle ground and talk to everybody just like they're people, because you guys are all people. Um, that's kind of my stance on the state of the hobby. The hobby's fine. I think the hobby will be okay. I do think, just like movies and television, I think there will be a course correction. Again, go watch my recalibration video where I discuss that more fully. But I do think there's a course correction coming where companies are going to begin, and again, not just tabletop companies, I think companies in general are going to begin moving away from being so socio-politically active, and therefore even incidentally offending parts of their consumer base, sometimes outright trying to, but mostly indirectly offending or driving off parts of their consumer base, trying to appease another part of their consumer base, and blah 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 blah. That gets into like a business school lecture that I'm not going to get into. One, because I'm not a business major, but two, it's not the point of the channel. I wanted to get more into how I feel about games and companies that I'm not a big fan of, um, versus games and companies, that I am a fan of, and how I view those games, how I view those companies, how I view those players that play those types of games, and use those companies' products. So let me go ahead and start with something that I've been trying to be clear about, guys. I just want more D&D players, more role players. Period. That is how I feel about players. Even if you're playing something I personally won't touch, does not mean you're playing wrong, does not mean that you're doing something wrong, does not mean that you've chosen the wrong system or any of that nonsense that you hear. Um, it just means you chose a game that I don't care for. Big whoop. You are entitled to your opinions. You are entitled to play games the way you want to play them. That is how it goes. That is reality. That being said, I am very vocal. If you ask me my direct opinion, like in private conversation in particular, I will be very direct with how I feel about things. I will tell you why I don't like certain games, why I don't like certain types of genres or whatever. I will tell you why. If you want to really know, I will tell you. But for the most part, I tend to keep a lot of that to myself. I don't really blast that out to the world for various reasons. Um, Again, it has a lot to do with, I know a lot of people that watch this channel probably do play games or have political opinions or whatever that are different than mine, and I'm not here to engage those differences. I'm here to try to bring us around a shared common interest. Um, so taking an example, 5.5 D&D, if you like 2024 D&D, then love it. Don't let my opinion dissuade you. Do not let my opinion convince you that somehow or another it is wrong. No matter what I say about it, it's just my opinion. Um, and by the way, that goes for everybody on YouTube, everyone on Reddit, everyone everywhere, blogs everywhere. Guys, a lot of time and ink has been spilt, digital ink has been spilt, trying to convince people that they shouldn't play D&D, they shouldn't play Pathfinder, they shouldn't play game X or Y because of, ABC. And guys, it's a waste of your time. It is not incumbent on me or anyone else to tell you how to have fun. If you have fun playing those games, then you have fun playing those games. I hope you enjoy them. I really do. I hope you have the best time of your life doing so. And I say that with an absolute level of sincerity that I don't know that a lot of people will approach it with. Like I said, I have my opinions about Wizards of the Coast. I have my opinions about Paizo. I have my opinions about Evil Hat and Chaosium and all these other companies and stuff. But guys, that's not what my channel is for. And my personal opinion about it is, if I don't like something like that, I personally don't engage it, but I don't discourage other people who may enjoy it from engaging it. So that's how I stand on players. Do what you love what you do. As long as you're playing, I'm happy, because at least you're enjoying the hobby. Now, as far as how I feel about games I don't like, a little more complicated on that front, in that, as I said, I do have some strong opinions on games and companies I don't care for. But I also try to keep them to myself. The way I generally handle those things is, as I said, I don't engage. I don't engage those companies. I don't engage those games. I don't engage that. The marketing, I don't engage any of it. If you purposely set out to make a statement like Kyle Brinks made, where you try to offend me and tell me you don't want me buying your game, hey man, you're going to get your wish. Have fun with that. I know one person's not going to hurt them, but it's not about the hurting the company. It's about my personal preference and everything else, saying I choose not to engage certain types of behavior. I tend not to engage certain types of games. Some games I don't engage because of mechanics or layout or whatever. Some games I don't engage because of public statements and marketing materials. I have varied reasons to dislike certain things. But again, I'm not going to dissuade you from purchasing from those companies or purchasing from those creators because I don't like them. Again, not my decision. I am not the fun police. I do not want to be the fun police. So when you hear me talk about, if I do a video that say 10 alternatives to D&D, which I've done videos like this, and I probably will do more videos like this in the future, because there's so many options out there. It's not to get you to stop playing D&D. It's not to try to hurt D&D. It's to show people that, hey guys, if you're tired of D&D, or you're new to the hobby and you're wanting to explore alternatives to D&D because all you've ever played is D&D, whatever the reason, I just want to show you there's alternatives out there. There are games you can play that are not D&D that are just as much fun. It is not an affront and a personal assault against Wizards of the Coast for me to do a video like that, because I'm not doing it to try to convince you not to support the company. that something like that would be more reserved for like a private conversation, particularly among me and my friends. That would be the type of conversation I have with them. But I'm not going to have that on my channel. I'm just not going to do that here. That's not what I'm going to do. Um, I don't want to try to control how people have fun, which leads me kind of another point, guys. Um, guys, I want you to have fun. Um, when when I boil down role playing as an experience to other people, role playing is a experience among friends that is designed, because it is a game, is designed to be fun and engaging and exciting. Uh, if you're not having those three things, it's not engaging, it's not fun, it's not exciting. Uh, you probably need to be looking elsewhere for, even inside of the hobby, for something that better scratches your itch. Um, and I don't mean just game type. I'm talking, you may need to find a different group to play with, because the group you're playing with may be part of the problem. The game you're playing may be perfectly fine, especially for your play style, but you may be with a really terrible group of people who constantly, for example, constantly do nothing but try to turn it into their own therapist session or something. If you're sitting at a table with 5 people and 3 of them are constantly using it as a daddy doesn't love me therapy session, then maybe the right thing for you to do is find a group where that's not the case, where people are just there to have fun. Because I can tell you, you don't want to be around a table with a bunch of people who all they do is complain about their lives and use D&D, and I'm using D&D as shorthand here, use D&D as a coping mechanism. I've said in other videos, D&D does have therapeutic uses, but I promise you, one of the ones is not to cope with your daddy issues and stuff like that. That's not what it's for. However, I will say this: if you do want to use it that way, and your group is okay with it, and everybody at the table wants to do it that way, go for it. I'll never sit at the table. I'll never enjoy that table, but that doesn't mean that you're somehow wrong for doing it that way. If that's how you have fun, then that's how you have fun. Just, I will say this: don't be shocked if a lot of people don't want you at your table, at their table, because most people don't want to have fun that way, because that's not fun. But yeah, so RPGs are just, they're collaborative. They're supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be among friends or acquaintances. You're supposed to enjoy yourself when you're doing it, and the best way to enjoy yourself is to find something you're comfortable with and enjoy it. It doesn't have to be something I like. It doesn't have to be something I agree with. And I know everyone pretty much watches this channel knows that. So just keep that in mind. Nothing I say on this channel is meant to belittle anybody who plays a game I don't care for. Nothing I say on this channel is meant to tell people what to do. I've tried, I can't say I always succeed, but I have always tried to couch even my reviews of games as reasons to try them, rather than do this instead of that kind of things. I can't say I succeed all the time. I am still human, unfortunately. So I am going to make, I'm going to make mistakes, but please don't take anything I say on this channel as a direct affront to the way you have fun or the way you enjoy the hobby, because that's not the goal. That's not my goal in life. And for the record, that's how I kind of conduct my life as a general rule. Especially when it comes to things that are, in the grand scheme of things, not actually all that important. Your choice of RPG does not impact my life. And it doesn't impact other people's lives. Therefore, it's not worth lecturing and bitching and moaning at people about it. You have the right to have fun in a way that I don't approve of. Congratulations. If you want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, and on the flip side of that, if you come to a channel like mine and you're expecting me to approve of everybody, the way everybody plays every game of, every RPG, you're going to be sorely, sorely saddened. because I'm not going to do that either. I will be very honest that there are ways to play D&D that I think are kind of goofy. That there are ways to handle RPG sessions and things inside of RPG sessions that I consider to be wrong-headed. Doesn't make me right, just makes it my opinion. So keep all that stuff in mind, guys. I just wanted to clarify that, like I said, because I think there were some misconceptions floating and some conversations I've been having about how I viewed the hobby, how I viewed tabletop itself, how I viewed, games and people who play games that I don't care for. Guys, I'm a pretty open-minded guy. I will say that. And that's not the self-pat on the back way of saying that. That is a way of saying, guys, I authentically do try to be fair-minded. Again, don't succeed 100%, but I do my damn best to be fair-minded and open-minded when it comes to everything around the hobby, especially. There's too much in the hobby. There's too many games that exist. There's too many different play styles that exist. There's too many different GMing styles that exist for me to be closed-minded about it. And on that same note, guys, I've played under some GMs that, because they ran games in a way that I wouldn't have run them originally, I've learned a lot of really cool things from some cool GMs. So that has to be taken into account as well. So you can learn a lot by trying to be a little more fair-minded. Honestly, you can. So if you, like I said, if you're coming to the channel expecting me to take a dump on, Paizo, you're not going to get that. I'm not going to take a dump on Paizo. I'm not going to make 600 videos about how Wizards of the Coast is the devil. I'm not going to waste my time on why creator, A is some type of demon or something because he said something or did something I don't agree with. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste my time. I am going to do my videos on stuff like Dragon Warriors. I'm going to do my videos on things like Anima. I'm going to do my open adventure fantasy review now, especially now that my book is coming in today. My hard copy is, I'm going to do those things and I'm going to enjoy them. And as I've said in other videos, if I can convince one of you guys to give a look to a game, then I've accomplished what I set out to do. Not because I'm trying to change your hobby habits or any of that, but because I think these games authentically deserve more love. So anyways, guys, I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. If there's any misconceptions you have that you've picked up from videos and you want me to know about them, please leave them in the comments. Guys, just follow the 3 rules. No ad hominems, no picking fights. Don't leave me college dissertations on how I'm wrong about things. Other than that, guys, I really do appreciate your comments because they do help me refine the channel. Other than that, guys, we hope you have fun, and we do hope to see you guys around the gaming table at some point.